You know, I think they're running out of Democrats in Virginia. Right now, the Attorney General of the state admits that he, too, wore blackface at a college party. This goes back to 1980, whatever your views on this subject. But that is the third controversy to develop for officials there, beginning, as you recall, with Governor Ralph Northam, with some questionable photos that go back to his medical yearbook. And then the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, accused of sexual misconduct and other things that could make it difficult for a Democrat to advance to that office. So with the governor in a heap of controversy, the lieutenant governor would be next in line in a heap of controversy, and the third in line, the attorney general, in, again, said controversy. Who do you think is next in line for that job? The Speaker of the House of Delegates, Kirk Cox, and he's a Republican. So this is getting a lot of attention here because Virginia is one of those states that lately has kind of shifted from purple to almost outright blue. What does it say about its 13 electoral votes in a couple of years in 2020? And how is this setting the stage or backdrop for that? To former Bush 43 Deputy Chief of Staff Karl Rove. Karl, what do you think?
What a mess.
Incredible, right?
Yeah. And this has been, sort of like 10 days of Northam first gets into trouble a week ago Tuesday by getting involved. There's a bill brought up in the House of Delegates to basically allow infanticide. He defends it on Wednesday by saying, if a baby is born and the mother wants it to be aborted, we'll keep it comfortable, and then the physicians and the mother will have a discussion, decide, in essence, whether or not to kill it. And by Friday, he gets involved in this. We've now had 3 news conferences on the subject, and now we got the lieutenant governor accused. We got the attorney general popping up and saying, I too wore blackface. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. The Democrats in Virginia have gotten themselves tied up in knots, and everybody in the Democratic establishment is calling for Northam to be gone. And most of them did so before they found out that Lieutenant Governor Fairfax had his own problem, and only now in the last couple of hours have we learned about the Virginia Attorney General hearing.
Now, Karl, just to be clear, the other side and the governor has said on that that birth abortion issue that it was only deemed for babies who could not survive or were in such peril that it would be up to the parents to decide to keep that child at that point. Leaving that aside, though, you're right. The drama around all of this with the rotating chairs here, I'm wondering if it came down to the Speaker of the House of Delegates moving up to governor, the other two would have to resign ahead of him, wouldn't they? Assuming the governor would.
You'd have to have the governor resign, the lieutenant governor resign, and the attorney general resign. In Virginia, you only elect 3 offices statewide. Those 3 are the governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general.
So they don't resign. Right, this is going to be tough to conclude one way or the other.
Oh, yeah, look, if Governor Northam decides he's going to stay, I find it difficult to believe, particularly today, that the House of Delegates, that even though the Democrats have called for his resignation, I find it hard to believe the Democrats in the House of Delegates or the state Senate are going to move forward with an impeachment proceeding.
So, Karl, play this out for me to 2020. I know that's hard to do right now, and things can change mightily in a matter of days, forget years. But this state that seems to have gone Democrat, or at least is bluer than it ever used to be, how does it swing on this, or does it?
Well, it has a first impact in 2019 because Virginia holds its state legislative elections this November, and the Republicans control the House of Delegates by 1 vote and the state Senate by 1 vote. And so in this kind of election, if you had a popular Democratic governor who organized, as Terry McAuliffe before him, organized and put together the money, did the candidate recruitment, went in and campaigned for the candidates, then the Republicans could stand a very strong chance of losing control of the state House and or the state Senate. But now the Democrats are going to be divided. The Democrats are going to be unenthusiastic. The Democrats are going to lack money. They're going to lack candidate recruitment. And the Republicans have a little bit of a wind at their back. They might be able to hold on if they play their cards right.
What did you think of the president's speech last night?
I thought the best parts of it were the parts where it was him. He clearly cares deeply about, for example, the angel families, people who have suffered a death from an illegal alien. And he obviously cares about sexual and human trafficking and illegal immigration when he talked about Special Agent Hernandez. So the moments that are him, he comes across as authentic and that he cares. That's why I think his numbers were so good last night on the instant polls that were done of viewers. I think he takes too much on him. I mean, when he talked about, for example, building the wall, I've paid attention with interest to the Democrats in recent days. They would say, well, we want an evidence-based wall, said one of them on one of the Sunday programs. We want evidence that this is necessary. Well, the president is not plucking these numbers of what needs to be repaired and what needs to be built from out of the ether. He's getting it from experts inside the Department of Homeland Security. So I wish last night, the one criticism I would have is, I wish last night that he had said, you know what, you heard from me about this, but I want you to hear from the people that I'm hearing from. I want to point out in the galleries the men and women on the front line of our border security who are telling me what we need to do along the border, and they say we need this, whatever, 50 additional miles of new wall, right, and that we need to repair, you know, and let them carry the burden more than just him. I mean, he has real, authentic support among those experts if he'll put them out there and let them help make the case to the Democrats. And it makes it tougher for Democrats to avoid making a deal, because now it's no longer them arguing with Trump. They're now arguing with the person who's in charge of border security in the Yuma district, or is in charge of border security in the Del Rio district. I mean, better to have more allies who are actually the people recommending to him what needs to be done than to just take it all on himself.
That's an interesting point. I take the burden off of him. The cynics will say, oh, you're just making this up. And he could say, these are the experts who've been saying this for years, even in the prior administration. Karl Rove, thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it.